Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things right through a common sense lens. And obviously, we love ourselves some rumor mill around here, right? We talk about things like that all the time. We like to try to be ahead of the curveball, and considering a lot of these rumor mills are very reliable sources that have been right time and time again in the past, whether it be WW Pro or Matt McGloin over at Cosmic Book News, or Mindtime Show Hello, or Can We Get Some Toast? May you rest in peace, your Twitter account out there, or a lot of these other places that have been accurate time and time again. And that's why we listen to this kind of stuff, right? So that we know what's coming. And a couple of years ago, there were some rumors going on out there talking about how Avengers Secret Wars, much like in the comic books, was going to be Kevin Feige's excuse to get rid of a lot of the characters that didn't work, i.e. the Eternals, the one that caused a disastrous box office, Captain Marvel, the Marvels, any of those kind of characters that simply aren't working. And this is something they did in Secret Wars. Obviously, the whole confusing timeline thing, the multiple realities. It's been a real big kind of flop and a disastrous dumpster fire for Disney Marvel out there over the past few years. A lot of fans are sick and tired of this. They're tired of all of the rest of the nonsense that goes along with it. And they're simply just kind of want something that's simple, concise, and where it all makes sense. And you have to watch a bunch of television shows out there in order to understand what's actually going on with the story. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, once again, as we have talked about a million times, yes, the rumor mill turns out to be true once again, which is exactly why we listen to it and pay attention. So that way, much like the Fantastic Four being a Sue Storm-centric story and have a female Silver Surfer in it, we knew about all of that way ahead of time. Well, guess what, boys and girls? The rumor mill was right once again, and a couple of years ago on our old channel when we reported all of this stuff absolutely out there shows you that this is exactly true. Because as you can see over here from Bounding into Comics, Kevin Feige confirms MCU will reset after Avengers Secret Wars, recast for Captain America and Iron Man to debut in the X-Men movie. So yes, characters like Kamala Khan and all of the rest of these ones that have turned into disastrous dumpster fires for Disney Marvel, all of those characters from like Secret Invasion over there on Disney Plus. We could talk about She-Hulk. We could talk about, the Hawkeye show that wasn't really about Hawkeye. It was more about the girl, Echo, anyone. Like literally all of this is going to be an excuse for Kevin Feige to erase these diversity, inclusion, and equity hire characters that have cost the company billions of dollars in failed television shows and in failed movies and in a lot of cases, failed comic books as well. And now this is the time where Kevin Feige is going to finally use this as an excuse to clean house and get rid of these characters, and we will never see them ever again, boys and girls. Mark my word. So we're going to check out this article from Bounding into Comics, getting all of the juicy details and see exactly what Kevin Feige actually said and what the specifics are to this and what the future of the MCU actually holds. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2K. We're sailing away towards 2,100. I think we're sitting at like 2080, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. What do you think about all this? Does it surprise you at all that the rumor mill was once again right? Does it make logical sense with all of the disastrous dumpster fires and the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that Disney Marvel has lost over the last few years on all of these failed characters? Does it surprise you at all that they're going to return to normalcy and bring back an actual proper Steve Rogers Captain America as well as a proper Tony Stark Iron Man and not replace them with a bunch of these gender swap and race swap kind of garbage? Let us know about all that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. All right, from Spencer McCooley over there at Bounding into Comics. In truly living up to the ever-messy nature of its comic book source material, the last Marvel Studios boss, Kevin Feige, has confirmed... Oh, wait. Source material. The last. I just thought it was the last. I mean, were they knowing something that we didn't know? The last Marvel Studios boss, Kevin Feige. In truly living up to an ever-messy nature of its comic book source material, to the last, Marvel Studios boss, Kevin Feige, has confirmed that not only will the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe undergo a pointed reset, quote-unquote, i.e. kill off all of the characters that aren't making us any money, don't work out, and just end up at the Ollie's bin after the events of upcoming Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars duology, but that all the resulting recasts will make their respective debuts in the franchise's upcoming X-Men entry. The baseball-capped head of Marvel Studios provided this update as to the MCU's future casting plans during a recent sit-down with the press, as hosted by Marvel's headquarters in Burbank, California. Yes, instead of Kevin Feige attending San Diego Comic-Con to promote Fantastic Four while it's literally it's premiering in theaters at the exact same time, no, instead, he decided to have a sit-down with all the Legacy Access media at an invite-only press event. Needless to say, he wasn't exactly getting the most hardball questions out there. Per a recap of the event provided by Deadline's Anthony D'Alessandro and Justin Kroll, after an opening assurance that the studio currently has a 7-year plan for its film and television shows, I think that goes to 2032, he added, what all does that work out to? What, 1 movie a year, 1 television show a year? So 14 projects over the next 7 years because you're broke and you've lost billions of dollars over the last few years chasing the modern audience and pushing in a political agenda? Yeah, how's that spirit of the age worked out for you? Not so well. It's on magnets. It can move around. Feige was eventually pressed as to whether or not said plan included recasting any of the canonically dead or old head Avengers like Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, T'Challa, and Thor. Ha ha, well, looks like somebody's finally asking the questions that really matter. Not really, but needless to say. In the turn, the producer offered an answer that essentially boiled down to yes for everyone except the God of Thunder. So literally, we're going to get an actual proper Captain America again. We're going to get a proper Iron Man again, which means Captain Black America, aka Falcon, will never raise the shield again. Also, Ironheart, the disastrous dumpster fire that is the Riri Williams character, we will never have to worry about her being the new Iron Man out there. And that whole idea of the Young Avengers, aka the Champion series, like they're calling it now, yeah, I'd imagine we're not going to see a whole lot of that in the future either, boys and girls. Why? Because the roster is filled with characters nobody's either ever heard of or no actual Marvel fan legitimately cares about. And if there are legitimate Marvel fans out there that care about them, I hate to tell you, there is not enough of you to support a hundreds of millions of dollars television show or a movie that loses them millions of dollars at the box office. You are just not worth it. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm sure your mother told you you were very special as a child, but 2 + 2 = 4, and you don't sell box office tickets. Or toys, for that matter. Shout out to Ollie's. With Downey Jr. now playing Doctor Doom, are there plans to recast the core Iron Man, Captain America, etc. on the big screen? Kevin Feige says yes and no. Feige sees such a star as Chris Hemsworth still in his prime to play Thor. You know what? Actually, I like D'Alessandro over there at Deadline, or over there, and so I probably shouldn't do that anymore. But either way, I'm just imagining it as Kevin Feige's voice. And even cherishes the return of thespians, i.e. Tim Blake's Newton Samuel Stem and Captain America Brave New World, which lost them hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office. Who played Marvel characters years ago. But yes, in the long term, like many other storied movie franchises, Marvel classic superheroes will get new faces. So yes, boys and girls, they will not be being replaced by the diversity, inclusion, and equity hires and characters that they've been pushing over the last few years over the MCU's Phase 4 and Phase 5. Feige also noted that Earth's mightiest successors would not make their respective debuts in their own solo projects, but instead confirmed that X-Men is where that will happen, ostensibly referring to the upcoming film set to be directed by Thunderbolts director Jake Shire, which could be okay. A lot of the compliments from the Thunderbolts was that Drake Schreier handled really well doing a team-up movie and balancing the characters out really, really well, so maybe it'll work out. I'm not really hoping for much at this point. The majority of the creative talent has been gone from Marvel for a very long time. Don't believe me? Look at their box office numbers. As to how these refreshes could be introduced to the MCU, Feige confirmed that Marvel Studios was intended to follow in the footsteps of Secret Wars, source material, and use their upcoming cinematic crossover to reset singular timelines ahead of some level of franchise reboot. Yes, boys and girls, just like many fans theorized and a whole lot of the scoopers talked about years ago, Secret Wars is going to be used as a reboot for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just like they did in the comics, and Kevin Feige confirms it. Notably, Feige's confirmation comes roughly 2 years after circulating rumors regarding a possible MCU reboot, which kicked off in late 2023, when a quartet of scoopers, Joanna Robinson, Sil Abdul, shout out to my boy Sil, Can We Get Some Toast? Rest in peace. And My Time to Shine, hello. All reported that hearing the film was essentially meant to be a send-off of the original MCU, with the latest further asserting that Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow in particular would be getting new castings. Wait, what are you trying to tell me? A black Captain America and a black female Iron Man didn't work out for you? Wow, color me shocked there. Who could have ever possibly seen that coming? I don't know. How about the decades of comic book history that shows you these characters don't work? Well, Kevin Feige's figured that out, and everybody's getting a reboot. Everybody's getting a reboot. Until now, the only official discussion regarding a possible franchise reset came earlier this year when pressed on the subject during an interview with the Screen Off Script podcast. Marvel Studios head of streaming television animation, Brad Winderburn, avoided offering a direct answer and instead offered his own personal thoughts on the entire concept of comic book-related reboots. You're going to have to ask Kevin about the features. I'm on the TV side, but we do navigate the same waters and live in the same universe. I'm a comic fan. I've read comics since I was 12 years old, and I've seen what happens at comic companies when things get full reboots. And the truth is, every time there's been a full reboot at Marvel or DC in particular, eat my butt. It always feels like you can't really fully reboot anything. Well, Kevin Feige sure as hell is going to try. The classics always come back around. You mean like Peter Parker as Spider-Man and Captain America as Captain America, you know what I mean? And Tony Stark as Iron Man and not Riri Williams, and the Hulk's Bruce Banner and not whatever the new character is that I can't remember right now. His name is the Asian kid who's smarter and better than at being a Hulk than Bruce Banner ever was. Yeah, you mean characters like that? Yeah, I know. Strange concept. It's very difficult to do a living, breathing fictional universe to just start from scratch because of all of the fan investment and love for the stories that have come so far. Well, I guess that doesn't matter to Kevin Feige when they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office and on television, because clearly that is exactly what is going to happen, even in the actual breathing fictional universe. Unfortunately, what lies ahead for Marvel's cinematic future will be revealed through then Avengers Secret Wars hits theaters on May 7th, 2027. Well, we can already tell you what's going to happen. A lot of these useful, failed, and miserable woke diversity, inclusion, and equity spirit of the age characters will be eliminated. They will be killed off. Some of them may not even show up and ever be talked about again. Echo, echo, echo. Kamala Khan, maybe, although I do like the actress. She's very nice. But needless to say, boys and girls, She-Hulk, that's going to go bye-bye. Moon Knight, probably not. Probably going to go bye-bye. Go on Mulvaney, Captain Marvel, everybody involved in the Marvels, and so many others out there are going to be completely and totally gone. All of these characters, everybody from the Eternals, you're never going to see those characters ever again. Nobody's ever going to talk about the giant celestial sticking halfway out of the planet. Doctor Strange, probably only a matter of time. WandaVision, probably only a matter of time, which sucks because those are characters that actually work, so they'll probably leave those alone. We'll just have to see what happens. Because it's not like I said, these characters have survived before, so it's not like, and characters obviously survived Secret Wars in the comics as well. It was just you got rid of a lot of other ones, and a lot of the variants, and a lot of the nonsense and the garbage, you know? And you're going to see a lot of that. If these actors are still willing to play these roles going forward, Kevin Feige will keep them. But for characters like Iron Man and Captain America, where they've tried to introduce new versions of them, right? New woke DEI, spirit of the age versions, they're all gone. You will not see any of those characters ever again. And I cannot wait to see all the acolytes of the cult, the activists out there, have a meltdown and sad and cry and whine when they finally realize their favorite diversity, inclusion, and equity character is never going to come back. Because once again, scoops have been confirmed. Because you can only lose billions of dollars for so long on failed characters that didn't work in the comics, that are not working in the television, before you have to change and reset things. And guess what? That's exactly what Kevin Feige and Marvel is doing. So once again, scoop confirmed. Your failed diversity, inclusion, and equity characters simply don't sell. And now Kevin Feige is about to Thanos snap them from all of existence. And honestly, it could not come to a bunch of better, worthless, garbage, trash, nonsense characters that nobody ever cared about. And guess what? It's one more example of a woke purge from our modern culture. And as fans, it's exactly what we deserve.